Hi, Liv. I'm really excited to do your soul rebirth journey today. You shared some really neat things with me. So, you have some background in the music industry, and that's kind of shaped and molded you in certain ways. You have a really creative writing style, and you love music. But during that time, you were sort of led into writing a certain way or singing a certain way, projecting yourself a certain image. And I mean, it's a lot of things. I'm trying to find the best way to put it all. Basically, you want me to go in and see what I can find, create harmonies and balance during that time frame that sort of shaped and molded the way that you express yourself creatively. So you took several years off, started a family, and you're starting to write again and wanting to create music again, but you're feeling some of the echoes of the past are still sort of interwoven into how you're expressing yourself through music now. You really want to clear that stuff out of there. You have really big goals to create music that changes the world. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see what we can find out here. Um, you also indicated that you have ADD, and you had some really interesting questions about this. Says, do taking meds, Ritalin, not allow me to connect with spirit? Does it make it harder? Do my spirit guides do they have any tips for me related to this? You've noticed that ADD makes it hard to have a clear mind, meditate, or get into channeling trance states without your medication. So we'll see what we can find out about that. And you said too that in your 20s, it felt like you were connected with some darker spirit realms and you were slightly depressed. You say your brain spits out terrible images sometimes, and I don't know if you don't know if it's your head or something else. So, okay, we're gonna see what we can find, okay? I really loved everything you shared with me. I'm excited to get started here. I hear some clump something has fallen onto the ground from like a tabletop onto the floor, and there's sort of like curtains opening up, but it's more like it's not like the a big curtain like going across Broadway or something. Just some blue slat here, a blue slat there, like almost like window curtains. Instead of there being a door here, we have curtains. I was trying to go through them, but somebody is coming out to me. There's people walking. They look like otters, standing upright. They have big balls on their head, some sort of blue balls on their head, standing up very straight, very serious. It's a procession of otters with big blue balls on their head coming out. They're sort of mumbling like wait for me, that I have to wait for them. It's their turn. It's their right of way, and there's just more and more and more of them. There must be like 20 right now, a perfect line, and they're just sort of going this way and then they're coming around, and they're just all repetitive. It's almost like you take the same otter with the blue ball and now you stamp it, you stamp it, you stamp it, you stamp it. And they're all just in this procession of otters with blue balls on their head walking. That it's finally reaching the end. When it reaches the end, there's confusion because the mind says, well, this can't be the end yet. I'm quite certain there's going to be more otters. But for some reason, it does. It actually does come to a close. It's perplexing. It's really bothersome because the mind has been so anticipating a repeat action that it's confused that the repeat isn't happening. So it's sort of in a state of confusion right now that the otters are already done. In that way, it's taking me to a new sort of confused part. Um, the image isn't coming out very clearly just yet. It is very hard to. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe what this looks like. I have about this much room to see what this image is. The image is way over here, and everything else is just a mush pile. It's sort of like you could have like charcoal or really like pencil like really thick pencil, and just kind of pencil it, and then you smear it. That's what this looks like. The whole thing looks like smeared pencil. And then right over here it's sort of like a cube, but it's kind of crystal looking. It's not crystal clear, it's sort of a yellowish hue to it. I'm trying to get inside of there. I feel like I can't get to the other side of this. I feel like I'm stuck with the pencil smears, and all the best I have is this tiny little cube, yellow looking cube. And it almost looks like a window to my dreams, and it's over there. And I am sort of an otter as well. I don't know what it is about otters, but I got some whiskers right here, kind of growing out like this, and I'm ottery, so I got kind of a sleek otter-like body. And I'm just looking through this. What is this cube? It's yellow, but it's sort of. I'm honestly so excited right now. I'm trying to stay calm here. So I'm looking through the window to see what's on the other side. It's like my dreams are over there. But what is actually over there is people just walking by looking back at me. They don't even see me. They don't even know who I am. In my mind, in this consciousness, in this space, I say, am I an otter? Liv, are you an otter? Are you an otter at heart? What is this all about? What is the animal instinct within you? It's something about the animal instinct. Your animal instinct is otter. Sleek. With some whiskers. But there's a sadness. This otter that is a reflection of you, it's sitting down on the ground of this space. Obviously, what are the walls? What are the dimensions of the space? It's very strange, dimensionally strange. The otter is sort of looking off into the gray aspect of things. Doesn't really want to look through the yellow cube, which is getting almost orangish in tint now. It feels like a long waiting game. It almost feels like a strange prison as well. Everything is made out of paper. The walls even are made out of paper. It's not even good paper. It's like recycled paper that's really thin and even kind of a yellowish color to it as well. It could rip really easily if you pencil on it too hard. My dreams are lost, or I'm lost in my dreams. The otter mentality is sort of lost in its own thoughts. The otter is very much so like a person, no different than a human consciousness, human feelings, emotions, but choosing to showcase its appearance as an otter, wearing a pink dress now. Wearing lipstick now. Wearing a little pink bow in the hair. I mean, what kind of hair is it? There really isn't. It just sort of resting there somehow magically does it. She wonders if the presentation, her face forward, is all that truly matters in her goals. As long as she can look the part, then we're good. But that does not create joy within her heart. It's just putting on a costume, putting on makeup, but not being my best face forward. Wearing a disguise. I want to present myself as me, she says. When she actually writes the words down, she says, actually like a journal entry, I want to present myself as me, and then capital M-E. That's what she says. She says it through her thoughts that she is writing down in a space of oblivion. It just sort of writes and then disappears. It just goes into the space. It's there in the space. It'll forever, for all eternity, be a thought that was expressed into the space. but this, it's sort of, now we have room for new thoughts. She is getting out a guitar. She's no otter now. She's different now. I am her right now. So I'm experiencing her body as like a person, like a real person. She looks like a little girl with a big guitar, like not an electric guitar, just acoustic guitar. Um, playing to the gray patch, playing to the grayness. It's not shadow, it's literally smeared pencil. It feels like a very long time. It feels like I chose to get away and go live on a farm away from everything, and I'm just, chewing on some straw out by a tree, and I'm playing my guitar, singing to myself, feeling some rhythms within myself, but yet I'm still projecting this to an audience that's not even there. I'm still as though I'm singing and playing and expressing myself to an audience that is no longer there. The audience is now in the pencil smear, is in the gray. It's like a silvery effect, because pencil has that. Yeah, there's something different now, something that just pinched me on the lip. There's something gothic now coming through. There's a very gothic image of a girl. She would be a very attractive goth girl. She's sort of a cartoon effect. Her eyes are way too big for human eyes. Kind of anime effect to it. Really thick black bangs and sort of thick hair all over, like anime. And she has a piercing right here on the lip, right there. And she wears black lipstick. She has pale skin. She's deep in thought. She's serious. She's goth in the way she expresses herself. She wants people to see the dark side of herself as well. But she's not actually dark at all. She just wants people to see her as deep and dark, although really she's quite sweet. I don't know why she needs everybody to see her this way, because she's not actually being herself. She's not actually being herself at all. My spirit guides say, what is it about her that is not her being herself? If she feels the need to express herself in this way, how is that not her being herself? I'm saying underneath the layers of her identity, there is an innocent child that just wants to squeal with joy and love and happiness, wants to be a bright sunshine for this world. I'm not quite sure why she is convinced she needs to express herself in this way. What is it about the taste of this image that she is hungry for? Because it's not actually her. You sort of take a girl who has been so sweet and innocent her whole life, is really sick of being treated a certain way, wants to be taken more seriously. So in order to be taken more seriously, then she adjusts her style in order to get the right flavor of attention. But it's not actually her. My spirit guides say, so what again is not her? Why is it not her? I'm telling you, it's society. I'm telling you, society does these kind of things to us. Society inspires us to feel like we have to express ourselves a certain way in order to get the right kind of attention, but it's only masking who we truly are on the inside. She's only masking who she really is. And so this is not going to help her find herself. This is only going to lead her back to a longing to be that innocent person again. In the end, they say, do you think Liv longs to be that innocent person again? That innocent person that was not programmed for society, so to speak. Not programmed to be a certain reflection. I say, I'm not going to answer that question at this time. I have not experienced enough wisdom to know enough about live yet. However, identifying this is an identifying factor. This was even expressed in the language you shared with me about how this experience sort of shaped you to be what the music industry needed you to be in order to. It wasn't asking you to be yourself. It was asking you to be the music industry. So instead of you getting to be yourself, that's not the option. You don't get to be yourself. You get to be the music industry. So in the end, now you are trying to get back to being yourself again, the original version, the version that was not tainted by the molding of the music industry. You've got a lot of letting go to do, a lot of musical notes that are coming forward now, actually printed off on a sheet that is sort of, it's almost like you're a printer, an old school printer, and it's and it's pulling out these reels of paper with musical notes on it. It's like you're printing them out of yourself. They're just coming out of a reel, and it's right here at the heart portal. All this stuff is like the old school printer, and we're gonna like pull it off, the sheet off here. There's emptiness. That's all there is. There's no emotional response to that. There's only I'm doing what I'm told. I am the robot. I am programmed. I must do as I am told is the energy vibration. Are you sharing a gift with the world when you are doing what you are told? Or are you sharing a gift with the world when you are doing as guided by your own heart? Your heart is not a printer. Your heart is not a robotic machine. Your heart is not programmed to do what everybody else wants it to do. Your heart is your heart. It's a really awful, sick feeling inside here. It's really sad. It makes me want to cry. It took something that was beautiful and creative, a natural gift of music, and it desecrated it and said that this is the stamp of approval. Desecrating living music. It's as alive as water, as air, as love, and instead we're desecrating it. I mean, it's as vile as peeing on it and putting it in a swamp. It's like, Rambo, or it's like Rambo, I don't know, the third one maybe. No, it was the second one. And he was in this like poop pond, and he has these leeches, and there's pee and poop, and it's like, that's the feeling of this. It's really shocking to me. It's so sad. This is in your heart portal. This is the music in your heart portal. This isn't you at all. This is what those experiences programmed. And it's not as if they intended to. They didn't mean to imprint this stuff on you. And so much of this world doesn't seem to have a self-awareness about what it is doing. It's just trying to make money, and trying to make the most money possible. And so many people are selling stuff that is at this vibrational level. This is what we want to stamp as approved product for the public, approved product for kids growing, turning into teenagers. Let's give them this material for them to energetically feed off of. This is what we want to stamp as love, true harmony, true music, real music, worthwhile music. And I'm telling you, I'm shocked by how disturbing it is. I didn't expect that. No wonder this has been such a confusing stamped in part of you that you're having a hard time getting it out of you. I'm shocked. I'm still in it. I'm still in music that is vile and disgusting and like a pond of pig's poop and pee and leeches sucking your blood. It's not right. We're getting this out of there. As I'm getting this out of there, there's quickly a I don't know what's up with the animals in you, but there's a fridge. It's kind of an old school. It's got a really odd green color. It's kind of old school, like 60s or something. But it's a two-sided one, like side by side. But it's thinner. It's not like your massive fridge you get these days. But a giant giraffe or a zebra or something just opened the door, pulled something out like no big deal, and I heard what is like ice cubes in a glass, an empty glass, and then set it on the counter. This was instantly quick, and then just went back to this poop place. Poop music. Not even this animal is thrilled. This animal has no heart. This animal is going about the routine. We are really going into a space of grief, energetic grief and confusion. It's slathered full of lies. It's slathered full of lying. It is so the opposite of your spirit that it messes your spirit up for sure. It messes your vibration. It messes up your identity because it's so ill. It's so sick. The vibration is so sick inside itself. It's a slow process. I have the pleasure of seeing nothing right now. I have the pleasure of just feeling what this feels like over and over and over again in sort of waves and waves and waves and echoes of it. I can't even get back to the animal. All I can get back to is the brief memory where I saw it. Just a split second where it came and went really fast. I'm trying to get into a new space. It feels like an eternity to get through this. There's something of it's like a balloon with a boat attached to it, and it's slowly coasting through a void space of burning something. It's like red, sparkled. It's not sparkly by any means, but there's like splattered red and browns against a wall, and what's sort of like fire essence moving up, and it's huge. It's a huge space. It's like 200 feet in all directions, cave-like, and it's kind of got a hellish effect to it. But we're in a balloon. It's like a balloon. It's kind of cartoony, and some ropes and a boat, and then we're inside of it. It's hot in here. There is a heart pumping effect to it. It kind of goes in and out like the heart beats. There's no sound here. It's completely deaf. Everything is based on movement and visual images. Everything is based on movement and visual images. in order to get the point across. The image is changing now. We are seeing what is a very long, thin boat with lots of men, each with a paddle, that are rowing, all in unison on one side and in unison on the other side. It's just, and there's a water that there's no real waves, and there's a liquid light is what is. The water does not look like normal water. It looks like a metallic glistening, like it's strange, and it's energetically exhausting for me. There's definitely sunlight coming down from like a sun up above, but the water itself is almost bright like the sun beneath them, but it's got that water effect to it, but it's gray or silver in color. There's one man that's not rowing with all the rest. He's not rowing like everybody else. This man is ready to jump ship. This man doesn't feel right. And as he goes to jump ship, he actually just steps out of the boat and starts walking away. So it was all just fake to begin with. It looked like a deep water. It looked like in the middle of the sea. But truly it was just a foot deep, and it was just for show. And he's stepping out and he's walking away. He's so done with this. He's kind of looks like an army guy. But his hair is sort of a strawberry blonde kind of color, and it's kind of got a curl effect to it. It's a little frizzy. It's not a particularly long, but it's long enough that you can see that. He's got kind of a reddish tan to him. He's been in the sun. He doesn't look like he turns brown necessarily. He looks like he would belong in the army, not on some boat from, I don't know, some ages ago, some Greek boat or something. It was all just for show. It was just a stage cut. And it's literally a show. It was all for the effect. Ah, man, there's an exhausting energy going on here. Another new scene. This one, the energy shifts are really thick and dense. They're also exhausting. They're very hard to see. So they are really thin. Like I have to strain in order to access the information. Although it's there, it's not really sharing its heart and soul with me. It's just sharing what it wants me to see about itself. It's sharing the effect of itself, you know. But in the end, it's dull. It's dead. It's not real. It's fake. It's so fake, and that's what the energy is like. So as I keep going through each and every scene, this energy, I keep facing this energy, so we're clearing it out of there as I'm continuing to go through. But it's getting thicker and thicker the further in I go. It's getting thicker and thicker and exhausting. But we're going to get there. We're not going to give up. So this next scene is very weird. It's like there's little rocks, okay? It's cartoony again. So let's just say 20 rocks stacked on top of each other to create an island. But I can't see the island because the rocks are all stacked up. But it looks like there's a palm tree kind of coming out. But there's definitely a growth of earth life growth on the other side of all these rocks. And there's silver, metal, pencil shaving color, gray rocks stacked up there. And sometimes some of the rocks kind of dribble down and then new ones just manifest there. So we're just keeping it blocked off. Blocking off real growth. and then keeping it hidden or secret, keeping the real growth hidden or secret. Man, this really was, you're not kidding, this really did screw some things up. I mean, it's very unusual. This is a very unusual energetic experience. What this scene tells me is it's showing what is normal human growth. So let's just say you're 10 years old. Between the age of 10 and 15, you develop in crazy ways. Between the age of 15 and 20, you develop in crazy ways. The experience of 20 and 25, you develop in crazy ways. Usually, like, once you hit your 30s or mid 30s, you continue to develop, but it's not as fast. You're not going through all these body changes and life changes and, falling in love and then breaking up and then going to college and then moving out of your parents' house and then having to get a real job and then getting married and having kids. But all this stuff, all these things happen, in the first 30 years of your life. Anyway, this scene is sort of like the inner child of you never got to develop properly because it was programmed to be what it was supposed to be in order to be acceptable or approved. So that aspect of you didn't grow on its natural timing, on its natural timeline. Everything about this whole experience was totally as totally in balance, was totally as it was meant to be. But this is the aftermath. This is the effect, and now your soul gets the joy of untangling that knot and proving that it can fight through all this stuff. There's nothing that can override what you're capable of. It was just a bump in the road, and now you are going to be that much awesomer because of it, right? So, but this scene is sort of the real growth, the natural growth didn't happen out of its natural accord. On a more of a serious level. And then in the process, it kept blocking itself off. The growth aspect kept blocking itself off in order to be the reflection that the music industry says yes to. Don't be your natural growth. Don't be your natural self. Keep blocking off the natural growth, the natural self. Keep being like barren rock, basically. Don't grow yourself. Let us grow you. Let us grow you. Let us water you, seed you, be what we need you to be, but do not be your natural growth. So I'm in a space here that keeps building itself, blocking itself off, building up new blocks, boulders, whenever they start to rumble down, and oh my god, the real you's gonna finally start to come out. No, put more blocks in. We don't want to see the real you, because you haven't had the opportunity to really be expressing yourself naturally, right? So this scene, that's why I'm telling you that it's kind of on a shocking level to me. But at the same time, it's not necessarily. I mean, I think a lot of us can. I think that's quite clear that people in those types of roles that are sort of not able to just project themselves the way they really are in their heart, and that develops these types of reflections. I'm trying to pull the rocks out, but they're almost like gravel in a wound. They don't want to expose the wound. The wound didn't heal right. Nothing. The rocks are literally in a terrible gashy wound. And then when I try to pull one out, there's pain to it. And then a new rock wants to grow there. The wound itself grows the rocks. Have you ever had a bike accident where your body just sort of dragged through the gravel a little bit and now you have rocks in your gashes and it's not right on any level? It's not right. That's what we're working with here. It hurts so bad I want to cry. That's what this echo is. It hurts so bad I want to cry, and it keeps trying to. And It hurts so bad I want to cry. Period. Then when the rocks kind of come off of there and expose the total gash, total wound, do I actually want to see how bad it is? Or would I rather just cover it up with rocks and maybe just forget it or ignore it? It's healable. It's totally like any old, any kid that skins their body for the first time that's like, freak out. I don't want to know what's going on. It hurts and it's bleeding and it's freaking me out. So the wound itself is now exposed. There's no rocks filling it up. And it's a bad wound. I mean, it'll heal. Give it 2 weeks time, but it's gonna hurt in the shower. You don't even want to put peroxide on it, even though it's not gonna burn. But the thought that it's on the body and that it happened is just traumatizing enough. I'm a big wimp when it comes to these things. So it's like, for me, it's traumatizing me just looking at it. It's awful. But it's gonna be okay. I'm patting you on the shoulder. It really is gonna be okay. It looks bad, but it'll heal. I swear to God. It's gonna scab up. It's gonna turn to totally new skin in like 2 weeks. It's gonna be great. But let's promise we're not going to hide the wound. We're gonna expose the wound and get it some air, fresh oxygen. Help it to heal, okay? Not cover it up with rocks. No, like there's not even a band-aid on this. The rocks are in it. We just keep putting more in there. No more rocks for this wound. We have to expose it. The wound tells me that it doesn't know how to heal. It can't heal, and it just keeps crying. Like a child forever dealing with the impact of skinning its knee over and over, just staying stuck in that experience. The wound says that it can't heal because it's stuck in the experience. It'll never heal until time passes, that it's stuck in a time warp. It's like stuck in the same second that it happened or something. Can't get unstuck from a time stick. They say you're not stuck in a time stick. You're hurt. I can tell you're hurt. And you're gonna heal, okay? This is all new to you. I get it. Sometimes these wounds gotta get out there into the light, into the air, and some fresh water, and all things heal. But things don't heal too well when we hide them, when we try to cover them up with rocks. No more rocks for you. It really is healing. Just taking time. There's a pain in the heart now as the wound heals. It's like a wound on the elbow, though. More so. It looks like an actual wound, like an elbow skin or something. But as the wound sort of starts to heal, there's something in the heart that's speaking now. Has a delirious mental body effect to it. What makes you so important? What makes you so important? What makes you so important? The heart says this to the wound on the elbow. Why are you more important than me? Why is this wound on the elbow, skin to elbow, more important than the heart that is wounded? I matter. I am more important than you. This wound says, please stop saying that. Haven't you heard me? I've been in tears for so long. I've been sick for so long. The heart says, but I am sick too. I'm sicker than you. They can't come to an acceptance of either each other. They can't do it. They're both in pain, though. They're both suffering in their own unique ways. And they don't, because they're in such suffering, their suffering is the worst of all the sufferings. But the reality is they both need healing, just as equally important as the other. They're both as important as each other. The heart is getting mad about this. The heart does agree with what I'm saying, but it can't tolerate any more of this. It's pushing something out of itself. It's a horrible thing. I mean, it's like a man that went mad and is pushing a terrible splinter out of his third eye, and it's a heart. And it's a splinter like this big. And it's sick and twisted. It's like you're having a normal conversation with average Joe on the street, and suddenly he just starts freaking out, and he's like, and there's like a thing coming out of his head. It's like, oh my God, am I seeing this for real? You know? That's what the heart is like. It's kind of freaking out. And it seriously has a reason to be doing it too. He is almost, it's as this comes out, it's a very deep thorn. I'm telling you, the relief that is happening in your overall body is huge. The more he gets this out, it's like it's like a constipation in the third eye, in the heart portal, and it's the size of some horrendous, like a tusk, an elephant tusk or something, and it's sharp and awkward and thick and big and long, and it's coming out of his third eye. But it's feeling awesome. You're feeling so much awesomer in your spiritual atmosphere. I'm actually really excited. I'm so excited right now. I'm so glad you got this work done. You're gonna notice a difference. You will too. I tell the heart he's doing a wonderful job, and I'm proud of him for letting this go. That's the inspiration he needed, so he turns into a cannon and just bursts and blasts it out like a cannonball, but it's a long tusk or something, rounded out, but then sharp. He is feeling so much better. He is so free. He feels so much happier. He can breathe. He can breathe through his third eye even. He can breathe through his mouth. He can smile. He can beat his drum, which is a heart that's beating. He has no qualms about the owie on the elbow. He feels bad for that owie on the elbow now. He's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry for being a jerk to you. I was dealing with my own thing. I kind of got selfish, but I couldn't help it. I was freaking out. Elbow's like, it's okay, man. I'm actually feeling a lot better now, too. Look at me. I'm clean. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm normal skin. I'm fresh. I feel happy. Heart says, I feel happy, too. They're both best friends now. Your elbow and your heart are best friends. They're happy. They really are feeling so much better. I wish I could help you understand the difference of every way everything feels right now. I can breathe. I feel looser. I don't feel stuck. I don't feel like it's agony trying to get places. I don't feel like I'm trying to look through, see something in some awkward distance from a weird angle. I feel like it's opened up. the wisdom, the energy, the flow is opened up. I can actually access the movement of things, you know? I can choose, I can decide, I can be whatever I want to be. I feel like I have full access. It's like you're driving on the interstate or down the highway in the plain states. You know, it's the open road right now for you. It's not like you're driving with two big mountains on either side of the road. It's like beautiful scenery, but you can't see the distance. Out on the plains, you can see the distance in every direction, and your spiritual atmosphere is seeing the distance in all directions right now. It is breathing, it is seeing, it's on the open road, it's full of joy and happiness and creative, bubbly, excited energy going on here. Like, what are we going to manifest? What are we going to manifest? What are we going to think about? What are we going to do? That's what it's like in here. We're opening up a back hatch in the head. It's like cottage cheese back here. It's also like cottage cheese in the nose, up into the brain. There's eyes that even are tearing out like white. It looks like cottage cheese, you know? So it's not, this is not, this is a whole new conundrum here. Literally, it keeps showing me what is like a sheep or a lamb with a silly fuzzy head tuft of hair or something. All the while, the head is full of. It's all. We have two images. One image is sort of like a silly lamb with like fuzziness around the head, and then it goes back into being a human being with cottage cheese, though. Instead of hair, it's a brain, a skull full of cottage cheese, and it's sort of out, coming out the nose and the eyes, and out the back of the head, even. None of this is right again. I'm sure you can make a lot of, I mean, language images are for a reason. So sheep following sheep, fluff in the head, kind of the thoughts, the feelings about this. The cottage cheese, though, that is a crazy image. There's no explanation for this at this time. It's just a head full of cheese. Cottage cheese. It's like white goo. Cheesy, though. Cottage cheese. And the face that is enduring this looks quite miserable. There is a new scene developing. We're on an elevator. It's kind of sci-fi looking. So there's a wall, and the elevator is on the outside of the wall, glass, and it's got kind of a cool top piece and bottom piece. The wall itself is sort of round, sort of comes down in a rounded out way. It's kind of blue and red and green, but got a sheen to it, got a shine to it, and it's not flat. It's got grooves, is sort of designed throughout, and this elevator's going down. It's kind of a rounded out, and it comes up at a point. And it's not sharp at the bottom. You have a platform you can stand on there. They're going down super fast. These guys have really big heads. They kind of alien looking. I mean, totally alien looking. They have really big heads, but they don't, it's not like gray alien beings. It's kind of like a sci-fi version. They got a bluish color and like freckles, but they're like big spots just around here all the way to the other side, and sort of rounded up like this. No hair. This is also associated with the mental body. I'm just watching them It feels like they go down very, very fast for a long ways, although they reach the bottom almost instantaneously. But there's nothing new. There's nothing new to be seen here. There's just this. So I'm waiting. I feel really tiny in this place, like the size of an ant. The rounded out wall at the bottom is like feet. Lots of feet. These guys go behind the feet when they get out of the elevator. I'm still on the other side. I'm where the side where the elevator is. I'm even too small to squeeze through all the feet. I want to disappear and I want to hide. I don't even want to be here right now. But I'm determined to get to these two blue guys, these blue alien guys with really oval shaped heads. How do I squeeze through? I might have to, I'm not able to get through to the other side. I feel bewildered. I feel like they got away. I feel like I need to accept the way things are. I need to accept the stance. And I need to do it differently. I need to just walk away. I need to accept. There's something in the lines of this tiny little ant version of you, literally this big. The feet are like 200-foot giants or something. So the feet are enormous. Now that I'm on the bottom, that the cool color, the sheen and everything is turning into feet. Well, anyway, bare feet, mind you. Anyway, you're trying to get through. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, but everything is pressed, completely pressed together, and you can't squeeze through. So you're stuck on one of the feet, and now you're just going to ant your way down off of the foot and just leave. You still feel very small in all of this. This part of you does. I just keep waiting for this part of you to say, I can grow big if I want to grow as big as I want to be. I have the power, but this part of you just wants to stay as an ant for a little while. Unnoticed. This too comes with its own version of exhaustion. There's now another new image. This one is even more exhausting. There's upset, there are tears wanting to cry, but there are no tears to be shed. This space is sort of like the inside of a star, a three-dimensional star or something. And also inhaling, exhaling. Also has the heartbeat effect. Also kind of cool looking on the inside. It's red and then it's got some bright yellow lines that trace the edges of so it's like a popped out star. And I'm on the inside of it. It's like we're on the inside of a tin, like a dish, a really odd, dish. I don't know how that would really work for baking needs, but it's cool inside here. I'm still as small as an ant, but at this point I might as well be just invisible. I feel like I've disappeared. I feel like I'm on the inside of things and I just want to stay hidden inside of here. But I want to just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm on a newspaper reel. This too is very exhausting. Try to be a human being being a newspaper machine. Like newspaper machines can do it. Human beings, one human being being the newspaper machine, it's just, how am I supposed to stamp all these? How am I supposed to even, I don't even have a freaking clue what to do. I need a machine with 10,000 parts in it, movement, grease, gears to make the newspaper. I mean, I'm seeing newspaper, like a crazy machine. And the exhaustion is, I can't be a newspaper machine. That's how exhausting it is. It's like, I'm a human being. I'm not a newspaper machine. It's horribly exhausting. There's nothing making me feel alive about this. I just feel exhausted. Again, another journey through spaces that get more and more exhausting, and in the end, there's really nothing here. But it's not animated with real life. It's not animated with natural feelings. It's definitely, there's a reason here to be exhausted. The energy is definitely exhausted. But it's not, it's something is not natural energy. It's not like living energy. It's not natural. And it's very hard to manifest ideas. It's hard to manifest motivation. It's just a sleep state right now. Everything just went to sleep. You've needed this work. You're making awesome progress, by the way. I really enjoyed your message to me and the things that you were sharing about how excited you were to start feeling the freedom to write and express yourself in ways that were natural to you, but still feeling the disruption of sort of the old programming, the old influences keep getting in the way. And I definitely can see that you have a lot of potential here, but this old energy is still in the way. I can see why it keeps cropping up, because it's even exhausting for me right now to it's still sleeping, so this part of your consciousness is ready to reorganize itself. It's just going into a rest state. I'm gonna give it a minute. Give it a few minutes. It's gonna put me in a rest state. I'm actually just gonna step back. I'm just gonna let that do what that needs to do, and then we'll see what other consciousness are ready for me to focus on them. Something I wanted to tell you. You had mentioned here about the brain spitting out terrible images. You don't know if it's your head or something else. Sometimes that comes from when there's energy imbalance. For instance, the heart freaking out on the elbow wound, freaking out back on the heart, and there's just weird stuff. That's a huge energy imbalance. Huge energy imbalance. So let's just say, for instance, you're the type of person who's dealing with pain every single day. And you can't blame those people for being grumpy and bitter and irritable, because it's hard to live your life when you're just always in pain. It's hard to feel happy and rainbowy when you're always in pain. So when the body gets severely energetically out of balance, it can react. It can throw out images, just random disturbing images like, that's not me. Why is that showing its ugly face? It's really because you have a sore heart and a freaky sore elbow, and that type of energy clash creates random images that are basically saying, help me." But in the end, you're like, what is that all about? How come I'm not normal? I swear to God, I'm normal, but that was not normal. So that's part of what that's about. So I have a feeling that heart and elbow thing, getting that out of there is a huge improvement. I'm just pausing a little bit more because you're not ready for telling me anything else just yet. I'm still waiting. I'm going to actually pause this video and I'll come right back here. Okay, Liv, let's see how things are moving along here. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. We'll see what Spirit shows me. Okay, this is also very exhausting. Very strange image as well. So we're looking at a white balloon, a big white balloon, and then it's perfectly tied. It's got kind of a triangle. There's all a crackle mess around it. And is it moving towards me, or am I moving towards, is it moving further away? And it's absolutely exhausting. There's also sort of a projection notice, like there's something going on here at the throat region as we're looking at this. It's just a conglomeration smush. In the mushy mash of this scene, there's let's just throw in some man with a mustache and sort of a bluish gray suit, and he's it's like he's getting the Heimlich maneuver like several times, and then he spits out something that was lodged in the throat. It's like a white piece of not chewed gum, and then it keeps happening. It's a repetitive. A couple of Heimlichs does it, a couple of Heimlichs spits it out. So in the midst of that, there's another like war, like an energy warp going on, trying to create multiple bubble images of it. Just it's a total mess looking. Swirling really, 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 really swirling fast colors. In between lots of layers of white and gray, but there's some thin streaks of some rainbow essence. Slowly moving now around in a circle. And it just keeps building and building and building. They show me what is a kid chewing some bubble gum that would stick it under the table, but instead we're just going to stick it in the pile, stick it in the pile, stick it in the pile. More chewed bubble gum. Now we have a mountain of old bubble gum. And it's slowly on a display that goes around slowly but surely. It's making me angry in my head. And I'm forced to just deal with this. I'm forced to just look at this on display. It's chewed up and spit out. Chewed up and spit out over and over and over and over again. The head shakes. There's just a desire to just clear the head already. Just clear the head already. I can't get the head to clear. It just doesn't happen. Now there's sort of a space cadet blasting off into outer space. I just want to be up higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. I can't go high enough. Gotta go higher than this. Again, it's also in the brain. It's like helium or something. A helium balloon. Blowing up a helium balloon. Going up higher, higher, higher into space. I want to keep going higher. I don't even want to touch the stars. I just want to keep going. I don't care I don't care how small Earth is getting beneath me. I don't care how many stars I passed. I'm going to keep passing all the stars. I'm going to keep going higher. It's like, how big can you blow up a balloon before it pops? This conversation is helping this space to calm down and slowly realize itself and relax. Another strange scene. You're sitting on a car. It's sort of like a bumper car, but I can only see the part of you holding a steering wheel, and then but it's just sort of like go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. And then there's this sort of cannonball effect going up behind it, and it goes go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. It's like repetitive, bump, 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 bump. It's freaking me out. It's like it won't stop doing that. But the passion, the consciousness within this space is devoted, focused. It doesn't care how many times it's got to start and then stop again. It will keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping as many times as it takes. We're going to keep blasting off, and if I stop, I'll blast off, and I'll stop, and I'll blast off, and I'll stop, and I'll blast off. Where are you ever going to go like this? All you're ever going to experience, the distance that you have gone doing this over and over and over and over again, is very small. And yet the devotion is to this. It is awful. The brain, there's some sort of weird gloop that just came up from deep down and then all the way up and then splattered into the head and then out of the head. It's like I don't know, it's purple, goopy purple, and it's splattered. It's splattered in the head and then it's splattered out of the head, like the head shot it out, but it's in the head and out of the head. It's a goopy purple. Lavender, light purple color. You're taking layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, like these metal plates that are really thin. There's just sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets of them. I mean, it's just repetitive, like take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. And these like broken record moments, you know? Off of the head. It's like some weird metal sheet on the head. There's like thousands of them. You could be doing this repetitive motion for all time. This is in your spiritual atmosphere. Repetitively doing this for all time. That's what it's like. In the midst of all of this, like, where's the seriousness of it all? Because it's still very thin in the value of its devotion to these things. I mean, it is freaking devoted to this. I mean, devoted. It is devoted to start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Devoted, passionately devoted. Start, stop, start, 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 start. Like, that's what it's like in your head, in your spiritual atmosphere. It's like, but what is the value of that? I mean, what is the deeper meaning of this action? Like, what is it truly accomplishing in life with itself? You know? There's a lot of this going on in there. A lot. And in the midst of all of these broken record repetitive actions, I can imagine that I have a feeling that some of this will make sense to you, that part of there was a routine that could be start and stop a lot, and it programmed your body to call that normal, that behavior normal. So it can't clutch on to, like, just let it coast. Just let it go, Kumbaya. I don't know, like, there's something weird about this. I mean, at least the helium, the rocket man, he could go on forever. He wasn't start stop. He was just going to keep going on forever. But even that it wasn't really sincere either. It was all about where he was going in his life. It wasn't about getting to know life itself. It wasn't about experiencing the journey of going from one place to another. It wasn't about even thinking for himself. It was just going as far as he could go past all the others and just never stop, forever and ever and ever and ever. And eventually it's like air blowing up, like helium going into a balloon. And now the higher he goes, the more infinitely far he goes, his helium balloon gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then his head pops. And then now we go, and now, it's like, oh my Lord. This isn't you. It's like it's an exhausting labyrinth of this, and it's not you, but it's just energetic. We all have weird stuff going on, but this is the weird stuff within you that you're trying to clear out of there, and you sense it, you feel it, you got to purge this stuff. And you're right. You're seriously right. You need some cleaning out. In all my heart, Liv, I desperately desire to go beneath the surface of all of this, to go into really active layers, true love layers, real deep layers of deeper meaning. But all this stuff is so, it's like a trained animal at the circus to do tricks. And that's what the normal mechanisms, the energy mechanisms, are behaving like a trained animal. Maybe that explains why we're seeing all the animals popping up. I mean, this animal instinct, trained animal. I mean, there's reasons for everything. Maybe you love zoos. Maybe you like animals. Maybe these animals mean something to you, but there's always a reason for everything. This is helping the mind clear, because the mind itself does not want to be this. It wants to be dynamic. It wants to be more more well defined on so many different levels, It doesn't want to just build a Lego castle out of green and make it simple. It wants to be intricate. It wants to be designed. It wants to be specialized. It wants to be thorough. It wants to be well designed, colorful, radiant, of its own unique form. But it's still holding on to, it's still sort of lingering in all this energy garbage that's just been there. So getting this out is going to help you out a lot. Because I'm telling you, you're far more dynamic than what this is telling me. I know that this is not the truth about you. I know this is the truth about what is shaped and molded the challenges you're dealing with right now. But the cool thing is, this stuff is all up at the surface. It's ready to get out of there. It's ready to be released out of there. No wonder you felt motivated to get this work done with me, because your body, your energy field, this is all stuff at the surface level. Like, this is not me going deep down. This is me clearing out stuff that have just been resting at the top, just sort of bothering you. The heart and elbow thing, that was deep. The rock, that thing had something to do with your inner child and the development. That was a deep thing. That was a super deep thing. And that was, but all this other with the Rocket Man and the other stuff is that's creating energy frictions, but it's still at the top layers, so that's easy to clean out stuff, but that would definitely be causing you just not the ability to feel the kumbaya moments, the inner peace or tranquility, and the wondering, why do I keep getting wrapped up in something that I don't even have any part of anymore? This is a new scene. There's some sort of drippy, very fast dripping liquid. Um, it sort of has to do with the head as well. The head is shaped sort of like a. There's just a oval shape where the brain would go, and then there's a rooftop that's sort of just down on one side, and then water trickling off the rooftop. It's just enough so the water. I mean, it's just a weird image. There's a girl. All right. I'm looking straight ahead. Here's an open oval with a weird sort of thing. But it's not coming off the side, it's coming off the back. So I can somehow see the back of it and the front of it at the same time, with the girl sitting over here looking at all this stuff. She has her hands cuffed behind her back, no clothing on. She is looking at the space. She is cuffed to a tree. She wants to be released. She wants let loose. The more she tries, the harder she's not allowed her freedom. And she is wiggling. She is trying her best. She is trying to break free. She has her sights set on that space with the rain trickling. But that space itself is not healthy, is not in balance. I tell her, you don't want to go over there. That place needs to be healed. You don't want to be in there until that's healed. She's mad at me. She's very mad at me. She shows me how her wrists have been bleeding as she's been trying to get uncuffed from a tree. She hates, she's angry. She's turning orange. She's glowing. She's standing up. She is yelling at me. She wants to get her hands free so she can punch me, strangle me, do whatever she can. She wants to take this out on somebody. We start bouncing off of each other. We're turning into air that's like bounce, like it's like we're made out of air and we're like bouncing into each other now. We're having an air person fight or something. And I actually go all the way down to the back, and then my air pulls me back up again. And then I somehow hit you, and then you go back, and it's kind of silly right now. And the healing, we're starting to turn into balloons that are flying away. She's still handcuffed though, but the pain of the experience isn't quite the same anymore. I feel it's not the right feeling. It's not, again, it's very exhausting in here. I'm wondering if this is the medicine you're taking. Makes things slow down to a point where you're able to focus, but I mean, even right now I feel like I can't even think for myself. Like, it's hard to function through this. I see her just like a helium balloon. She was So she's handcuffed behind her, and the cuff string goes around, the chain goes around a really tall tree. So as she's going, as she is lifting upward, everything is going up, so she can actually lift off of the tree. She's still gonna have her hands cuffed behind her, but she can lift up off of the tree. She's just blowing away, and that's fine. I mean, she's just sort of, she doesn't really care. I mean, it sort of just makes you lose your real passion, your real devotion, your real, I mean, I'm finding myself moving backward into the scene with the lady, the otter. It's not the girl with the acoustic guitar, it's just the otter with the pink dress and the bow, and she's still in her thoughts in a scribble room. It's just the silvery essence of pencil marking. Looking out a window that's no longer there. It's just a space drawn out of pencil on thin paper. There's some sort of bike wheel moving really, really fast. It wants to maybe sharpen a pencil. I can hear like it's grinding into something. It's like a bike wheel, though. It's not like a tool for shaving things. It more looks like a bike wheel, but it's playing out the sound as though it's grinding into something to sand it down or something like that. I need to do something. I need to totally do something different here. I'm going to see if I can get this Lady Otter to go into a new scene. I'm going to put her out by a tree. I know there was some sort of child that was playing acoustic guitar by a tree with some straws. It's her. It's her that's out by a tree now. When she steps, there's sort of a huge geyser that just shoots out of the ground, and she's trying to run away from it. The ground is sucking down into the earth like a rug going through a hole, and she's trying to run away, and she's just running in place. She's overwhelmed. Everything's getting sucked down here. Even she's gonna get sucked down. Eventually she does. She gets sucked down. She's stuck. She's stuck inside of a tube with all this other stuff stuck around her. She is stuck, and she cannot get out. Again, with the insane exhausted energy, it feels like slow motion. It feels like I can't reach her. It feels like it's going to take another 20 minutes to get to where I need to be in order to free her. I ask her, do you want to be free from this? Or is this what you're choosing for yourself? If you want to be free from this, just say so, and you will be free. Everything echoes, I want to be free from this. I hear it a million times echoing in this space. All I hear echo is, I want to be free from this. Echo, echo, echo. A million times I hear that. Everything disappears, and all that is left is a blank space. saying, I want to be free from this. I'm saying to the echo, this is you saying it. I am free from this. I am free from this. I am free from this. A million times, I am free from this. Echoing a million times, I am free from this. I say, do you know what you're free from? You're free from this past. You are free to move on. You are free to walk further into the distance, your own dreams, your own manifested creations, your own life, your own reality. And all of this stuff is no longer there. It's no longer in conjunction with you. You are free. I say again, I am free. This is you saying, I am free in your own spiritual atmosphere. I have Lady Otter say, I am free. Going through all the scenes and having them say, I am free. Even the man who got off the boat, I am free. That weird fiery place, I am free. The Rocket Man, I am free. The bumper car, the weird metal sheets, I am free. The cottage cheese brain, the sheep head, I am free. The weird zebra, giraffe having an empty glass with ice cubes, I am free. The pencil space itself, I am free. The heart and the wounded elbow, I am free. Although they were free a long time ago, I just wanted to see how they'd react. They're totally free already. They're quite in awesome balance. You're just focusing, there's some sort of space scene and a black hole with a lot of weird colored clouds. It's not a black hole though, it just looks like a hole in the sky. We're flying towards it really fast, saying, I am free. That bubblegum lodged in the throat guy, shoot up and spit out, all that stuff, I am free. Spirit, you're doing awesome, by the way. Your spiritual atmosphere is going into another rest state. It just means the consciousness is taking into the energy and allowing itself to go into a state where it is reconstructing itself. So you may actually feel tired, unusually tired the next few days. But that's because energy work creates body work. Your body has to digest the energy work. So even when I do journeys, people will go to sleep in the spiritual atmosphere because the body is that consciousness. There's thousands and thousands, infinite numbers of consciousness. Everything has a consciousness. Each eyeball has a consciousness. Each cell in the body, the stomach, everything has a consciousness of its own kind. So all these consciousnesses are always talking to each other instinctively. They just are instinctive energetic consciousness. And sometimes you do enough energy work, and the consciousness needs to just take a rest. Just like we need to sleep 8 hours a day, sometimes consciousness needs to sleep too. Just energetically just rest themselves while they're being redeveloped, redesigned, and reconstructed into something totally new. So you've done this twice now. I'll be curious to see how you're doing as this all processes. This was a very unique experience for me. I don't have any answers for you on this Ritalin question. It's something that I would have to do just separately, and something I think viewers would be curious about as well. I would have to go and I'd have to do a total just a channeling just on ADD and Ritalin and all that stuff, so I could learn more about it. We could learn about it together and see what Spirit says. But I really felt it dedicating this time to clearing out those energy, those hiccups, those like echoes, those crazy broken record echoes was really valuable. And I wanted to focus as much time as I could on that. That's what you really need. So can't wait to see how it all balances out as the days pass. So thank you, Liv, for this phenomenal experience. I'm definitely rooting for you. I'm definitely wishing you all the best in this goal and this journey. I'm a super supporter of anybody who wants to create music that changes the world, because music is addictive, music is enlightening, music is freeing for the soul. That's why people will leave their job for a week to go to a crazy rave in the middle of nowhere just to free their soul from life. It's music that does that to us. It's music that gives us that gift of freedom, of our body, of our voice, of our self-expression, of everything. Maybe it makes a weirdo out of us sometimes, but it frees us. Music does. So it's important that you keep working on this, you keep developing this, and I really see that there's a lot you can do, there's a lot you can share with this world, and I think you'll get past all of that. The development from the get-go, it's okay that happened. It was just as it was meant to be, and now you're on to whole new, bigger and better things, because you're realizing this for yourself and you're choosing this for yourself, and you can't go wrong when you start choosing this for yourself. So I'm a supporter. I just want to thank you again for this total experience. And for those of you watching, if you are interested in getting a soul rebirth journey with me, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.